How's it going? So today I'm going to be showing you how to build this fully customizable markdown, Git-based, headless CMS connected and enabled markdown blog / portfolio site built with Tailwind, React, and shadcn, as well as TinaCMS. So it's going to be a nice full feature tutorial, hopefully, and it's going to do some interesting things. I'm going to show you how to embed things like tweets and make it completely editable. And the nice thing about this this blog site is everything in here is completely free. You can deploy this to Vercel, and because it uses your GitHub as a backend, there is no need for an API, no need for a database, and yeah, you can post your stuff over here, make a nice little blog or project showcase for your potential employers. And you don't have to come into once you develop this, you don't have to come into the code editor and change things manually. You can just do everything from your, from your, from your browser, from your phone if you want. So yeah, and you have nice little filtering for your blogs. And like I said, all of this is editable from the browser. So I'll show you what that looks like. If I come over here to say, this is my resume, I am Joe Doe, or John, I'm clearly John Doe, right? So I am Mahmoud, the dude. And you can see things are being edited live in 4K HD as you see them. So we're going to be covering this, and yeah, I hope you enjoy this tutorial. And if you're here for the first time, subscription would mean a lot. And if not, then what are you doing? There's a like button underneath that description box. So thank you guys in advance for watching, and yeah, hope you enjoy this one. So first things first, let's go ahead and create a new next app. So we're going to run yarn create next app. And we're going to call this one, I don't know, web dev portfolio and blog. Sure. We're going to use TypeScript. We're going to use eslint. We are going to use Tailwind CSS. We don't want to use the source directory, and we do want to use the app router. No, we don't want to customize our default import alias, and let's go ahead and open this when it's done. Alrighty, so we'll say code, web, dev, portfolio. There we go. Now, once you get VS Code open, let's go ahead and open up our integrated terminal in here. And we are first, before we add shadcn, which we are going to be using for this tutorial, we're going to first install some dev dependencies. So I'm going to go ahead and install yarn, or say yarn add -D eslint plugin Tailwind CSS prettier and prettier plugin Tailwind CSS. Okay. And then I'm going to run npx shadcn UI at latest init. All right. And if you're wondering where I got that command, let me just pull it over real quick. So you can see the at the ui.shadcn.com, there's the installation docs, and for NextJS, assuming you already created your next app, which we just did, you just run this and it gives you a few options and you're good to go. So yes, we do want to install. We're going to go with the default theme. I'm not sure. I think I want to go with neutral. Yeah, I'll go with neutral. And yes, I do want to use CSS variables for colors. All right, there we go. So now we have shadcn installed. I'm just going to go ahead and dock this over here real quick. And I believe we should be good to get started. Well, actually, no, that's not even right. Let me first, first thing I need to do before we get started is update our eslint and our prettier config. So, which we don't even have a prettier config. So let's go ahead and dump one of these in here. So I'm just going to paste this file in here and go ahead and copy these values. So this just uses the Prettier plugin that we installed a few seconds ago. And I'm also going to update our eslint to also use the eslint plugin. So we'll say plugin. Wait, what? Oh, whoops. Need to turn this into an array. Yikes. All right. Then we'll say comma. Then we'll say plugin Tailwind CSS / recommended. There we go. Yep, I think that's good. Did I not spell Tailwind CSS right? Oh, we're good. Okay, so there we go. Our eslint and our prettier config is set up. And I think that's basically it for now. So, oh, wait, actually, no, we have one more step left. We actually have to start setting up our Tina. Well, I really don't know where I was going with that sentence, so we'll go ahead and do that. So we'll say npx at TinaCMS / CLI at latest init. And this is just going to install Tina for us. So yes, we're using NextJS. I'm using Yarn, and I do want to use TypeScript for our Tailwind. What am I saying? TypeScript for our Tina configuration. So now let's just update our scripts. Tell you what, I'm just going to grab the dev build and start script like that. I'm going to head into our package.json. There it is. I'm just going to hide my terminal for a second. And I'm just going to replace the contents of the scripts, or just the dev build and start. I'll just replace those because I don't know why they don't have the lint script in there, but okay. So that's that. And they did, I don't know why the CLI always like shoves the pages, like a pages directory in here with like a demo, and we're not using the pages router. So, okay. So now that that's deleted, let's see. I guess we are going to change this, but before we do so, we'll just go ahead and start up our server so we can see what this looks like. So we'll say yarn dev, and okay, doing all its things. There we go. So it's running at localhost 3000. That is over here. And there we go. So not very overwhelming, but kind of underwhelming. But we can check out the admin view as well, which does not work because we need to update our next config to basically recognize the admin endpoint. So to do that, we just head over to the next config like so. And inside of the next config object, we'll say async rewrites like that. And then open bracket, and then we'll say return, open square bracket for an array. And inside of here, curly braces, and we'll say source admin and destination is /admin /index.html. So we save that, and now just give this a hard refresh, and there we go. So yes, want to enter edit mode, and it's not really going to do anything because we don't actually have like we can't edit anything over here because there's like we haven't configured our TinaCMS yet. But yeah, so this is the admin view, and then this is the regular view. So go ahead and have both of these open, so localhost 3000 /admin and localhost 3000. That way we can jump back and forth between these, and while we're going through this, we can edit on the fly and see how our edits look. Now let's go ahead and start configuring our Tina config. So I'm just going to hide the sidebar real quick. Now the way this works is inside of your Tina config, you have all the different, I guess, config options for Tina, and we're not going to worry about these right now. Actually, we are going to worry about this. I'm going to remove the next public from this environment variable because I don't believe we want our client ID to be public. So yeah, we'll just get rid of that. For those who don't know, next public, this is a NextJS I guess semantics thing where if you add next public to the beginning of an environment variable, this will, well, it'll be a public environment variable, so people will be able to see it. And I don't know if we want that. So first thing we want to do is inside of our collections, these are basically our like our data types, right? So you have different collection types. In this case, they have set up a posts collection type, which would go with, say, a blog post. So this kind of defines like the structure of what content or data would comprise a blog post, and that then gets used to be edited in, or that gets used as like the, I guess, point of reference for the admin to know what part of the site you're trying to edit and so forth and so on. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to like just blast this away. Well, no, we'll overwrite it with what we want. So we are going to get to the post later, but for now we want to have our homepage, and we want it to be something that we can edit from our admin view. I'm failing to, I don't know what to call this. I guess like the contextual editing, but yeah, the CMS admin basically, so that we don't always want to have to go into our source code to change things. Sometimes it's nice to just be able to go into an admin and modify things the way you would in, say, like a WordPress site, for example. So the first collection, because this is going to be a page, we're going to call it page. We're going to give it the label of pages, and the path, aka where this data for this collection is going to be stored, is in the content / page directory. Now, I am going to add another field over here called format, and this is just going to tell TinaCMS what this data type is going to look like. Typically, it's in Markdown. I believe that's a default, but we want to use MDX because we want to later on be able to render our own custom React components, which is what MDX is pretty much used for. It's Markdown with React. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, but yeah, so here's the different options. So we're choosing MDX, and inside of the fields, this looks fine. So I don't like having the type first. We'll put the name first, then type, and then label. So the name is title, the type is string, and the label is title. We'll make it required, and we'll say is title is true. So that's cool. The next one is the body. So again, I do want to have the name first. So name, it's going to be rich text, and label is going to be body. So this is just like the actual content, and then is body is true. Okay. So I think there's just maybe like one more thing, down here. So for the router, the UI router, this is just telling it like where to find the file. So this is not going to be demo blog. Rather, we're going to say, I'm actually going to get rid of this right here. And I'm going to open up a curly brace. Inside of here, I'm going to say if the document dot underscore sys dot file name. So if the file name is home, which is what our home page is going to be called, then send us to, I guess I got to use backtick, send us to the home page. And then we might change this later, but otherwise undefined. So this will give us like a 404, basically like if there's no file name. The other thing we want to do is when we're editing like file names, or like when we're creating new files, well, actually, this might not be relevant right now. We'll come back to this part later. So yeah, because we are going to be adding like different, like you are going to be able to add new pages from the admin. So we'll take care of that in a little bit. So now we can actually go and create or modify the main page component inside of our app directory. So go to app page.tsx. And in here, we can basically get rid of like everything and start from scratch. So we'll say, what we're going to be doing in here is export default, and we're going to be returning an async function. So async function homepage. Okay. And where's my bracket? Come on now. There you are. Okay. And inside here, we're going to be querying TinaCMS for the contents of that home.mdx file, which we haven't created yet. So we're going to have to go create that now, actually. So we'll say page, and it's going to be home.mdx. Welcome to my blog. Now we want to fetch the content of that file. So we'll say const result equals await client, and this is going to be imported from Tina dot queries dot page. And in here, we're going to pass in relative path, and the relative path is home.mdx. So it's just telling it what the file that corresponds with this route is. Then we're going to want to return something. Now, typically what we would do, what is going on? Return. So I'm just going to return a div for now. Hi from home. Okay. Now, this obviously isn't going to work, right? Because, wait, hello. Oh, it says right there, cannot return null for non-nullable field. So I guess we can modify this inside of our admin view real quick. So I'll go to pages, and interesting, no documents found. Huh. Could have swore. Okay. So let's do this. Wrong one. Let's do this. Let's get rid of home.mdx. Just delete that. And we'll add the page inside of our admin view real quick. So we'll say, for this one, we'll call it, I don't know, welcome to my, we'll call it home then. And in here, we'll say, this is my blog. Thank you for looking at it. And it's going to be saved as that. So we hit save, and there we go. So there's home. So hopefully that means that when I refresh, there we go. Hi from home. So now it's working. So it was giving us an error because we said that the title is required and we didn't provide it with the title. So let me see. I'm going to change this title to welcome to my blog, and that'll make sense in a second. I think I have it where it's like literally naming the entire file based on the title. So like since we named the file, or since we had the title of home, just name the whole thing home. So yeah, it's a little funky, but like I'm still learning too, so we'll get it straightened out. So let's see. The one thing we want to do now is you might have noticed that I'm using like an async call, and I'm not actually using this result. The reason I'm not using this result is because we need to actually use a clients component, because we're going to have to use the useTina hook, which is essentially a use state. And because we're using the app router, we can't like have the get static props function in the page anymore. Now we have to like create a client component and then like, pass this down to the client component and do a whole bunch of funky stuff. So we're going to go ahead and start doing that funky stuff. So inside of our components, let's add a new folder, and we'll call it app. And inside of this folder, we're basically going to be like creating all the components that go along with our actual route components. So the first one that we're going to create is page.tsx. Okay. And this page.tsx is going to be a client component. So use client at the top, and we're going to say export function page component. So think of this as the actual part of the component that takes in whatever data is requested from the route component. So this is the data that's being requested. Our page component is going to take that information, and it's going to update the content, like the actual template of that component based on the results of that query. So in here, we'll say props and open up a bracket, and the prop types are going to be data, and the data is going to be of type page query, and this gets created when Tina runs. So this does not exist out of the box. We have to create the config for the page, and then Tina will create this page query type for us to then use. So the other one is variables, and the variables for the page component is going to be relative path. And this is going to be of type string. And then the last one is query, and this is just going to be of type string. So now let's open up the function body, and we're going to destructure data from the use Tina hook, which we will pass the props to. So we pass the props to the use Tina hook, and in return, we get this data object. Now we're going to pull out the content of the data object. So we're going to say const content equals data.page.body. And while we're at it, we'll say const title equals data.page.title. Yep, that's what we called it. So we're just saying like the page data, which we've defined in the config as title. And because it's required, this will exist because you can't create it, as you saw earlier, you can't create it without it not existing. Well, you can't create it without it existing. I don't think that makes sense. So now that we got these two, and we don't have to do this, this is just for cleanliness sake. Now we can actually return our template. So we'll say return, open up a parentheses, and we'll say article. Geez. Okay. This article is going to have an H1, which will contain the data. Well, it's actually going to contain the title. I was going to start typing in this again, but we can just pass in the title now that we declared it as a variable. And underneath it, we'll create a section. And this section is going to contain a Tina markdown component, which we will import from the TinaCMS package. And we'll pass in the content, which we have defined here as content. Like that. So we can save that. And if we head back to our page.tsx.app, app/page.tsx, now we can say page component and import it like so, and then pass in the result like so. So we can save, and you'll see we have home at the top, so this is the title, and then this is my blog. Thank you for looking at it. I do have to refresh because we actually, there we go, because we changed the it's NextJS, so it doesn't always update, so we have to do a hard refresh. So Control-Shift-R or right-click this. I can't do it because I'm an incognito, but you can right-click empty cache and reload, and it'll dump out whatever like exists and re-render it. So yeah, that's more or less what we wanted to do. Now, the reason it looks like actual trash is because we need to add something to our Tailwind config. So let's head down to our Tailwind config, and over here somewhere, yep, there we go, the plugins, we want to require, and I learned this the other day, so that's pretty cool. We want to require at, I think it was Tailwind CSS / typography. I always thought you had to install this package, but it turns out it like comes built in, which is pretty awesome. Not entire. Oh, wait, hold up. I'm a silly goose because I forgot that we have to wrap this in a prose, which I guess we might as well take care of this now. So inside of our layout.tsx, so app/layout.tsx, let's change a few things over here. So first thing I want to do is get rid of this nasty title. So we're just going to call it TinaCMS blog. And in the description, we'll say, I don't know, my web dev blog smiley face. Cool. So what we want to do here, I do not want to use enter, so I'll get rid of that. And we'll get rid of this body class name. We are going to like introduce fonts later on, like when we get to like the real customization part. In here, I am going to add something because you'll see there's probably like a screaming error at you, or it will be screaming in a second. So I'm going to add the suppress, if I can spell, suppress hydration warning, because this is going to start screaming at us in a little bit once we start adding styles over here for some reason. And inside the body, right before the children, or actually, let me cut this because we're going to be putting stuff in here. So we'll say div.prose. So prose is a Tailwind class that lets you essentially render it lets you use the typography plugin, for lack of a better way of explaining it. But what this does is this just like gives default styling to things like, well, to basic markdown. So you'll see what it looks like. So we'll say pros XL, we'll give it MX of auto, MY of 20, width of full, max width of 4 XL, and padding X of 4. Dark mode, we'll give it pros inverts. And this just makes sure that when it's dark mode, it'll flip the colors. And then when it's at the medium breakpoint, we'll give it a padding of X of 0, like so. And inside, we'll add a main tag. And inside of here, we'll pass in the children. So we save, and there we go. So had we not added the typography, it probably would have looked like garbage, which let me actually verify that theory real quick, 'cause I might just be like huffing paint right now. Let's see. Get rid of that. Yeah, okay. So I'm not crazy. So that's what the Tailwind typography does. It's a pretty nifty like hack because it lets you like save a lot of time on styling if you don't feel like adding a bunch of styles. So that's oh wait, let me show you how editing this looks. So now we go to page, we go to title. We go to the home page. So here you can start seeing like some crazy things. So you can say like, okay, I want to eat ramen noodles, but only the good kinds. And we'll, I don't know, do something crazy. Like we'll make this italic. We'll add some code right here. So we'll say const D's nuts, and say if you want it, and then you want it is type Boolean. Oh, that's so cool. I didn't even know that it doesn't tell it. That is awesome. Oh, this needs to be TypeScript. Change this to TypeScript. There we go. This is a Boolean. So if you want it, then console.log, you can get it. And that makes no sense and is actually kind of gross, but there you go. So so now you have like this nice little blog with, you know, just markdown. You have like code like linting in your, that is crazy. I didn't even know. Oh my God. That is dope. I did not even know it has like TypeScript and IntelliSense support. Okay, so I just learned something new while I make this tutorial. So over here you can say, I don't know, if I have seen further than others, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants. Isaac Newton. Yeah, so there you go. And then when you save this, you'll be able to head into the home.mdx, and there you go. So you see like there's the TypeScript, there's the italics. I was about to say I was about to say IntelliSense and italics at the same time. There's your quote field. So yeah, like it's a really nifty way of like being able to modify your content. And when you deploy it, the nice thing about this is like, let's say you want to modify your blog on the fly, or you don't have access to your computer where you write all your code, or I don't know, you want to do it on your phone, right? Then when you deploy it, you can actually open up the admin page, log in using your GitHub credentials, and just modify it. And when you update it, there's no backend, there's no database. Well, there is a backend and there is a database, but you don't have to pay for them. You don't have to set up no like Supabase database or set up any REST API servers or anything like that. It just makes commits to your GitHub, rebuilds the site, and you see the changes based on that Git commit, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, it's a pretty nifty tool, and we are going to keep going and hopefully make it look really nice and give you a nice portfolio that you can show off to your your potential employers and really like stand out. So yeah, so I guess we can now start adding some more pages in here. So the first thing, well, actually this is kind of unprofessional, so I'm I'm going to replace this with some other content that I wrote up on the side. So we'll say Welcome to Mahmoud's blog. Cool. So I should have, there we go. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add an about page. And I tend to look at this page as like a place to kind of, just rant about yourself, show yourself off. So like I'm probably going to treat it like a resume. Not my resume though. I'm just going to put like some blank content in there, and you can do whatever you want there. It is your blog after all. So let's see. In order to get another page in here, we have to add something to our app directory, or our our app router. So what we're going to add here is a folder called slug. And what this folder does is it basically says, like, if you have anything that's after the home root, yeah, the root path, I guess. Sorry, words are hard. So anything after the root path that doesn't have a folder defined here will go into or will be rendered by whatever page component is in here. So if I say page.tsx here, now whatever it is that I route, like let's say admin, potato, beans, I don't know, whatever, slash anything, will default to whatever it is that we have in this slug folder. So, but that it's also going to require there to be a corresponding MDX file. So it's going to give you a 404 if there isn't a corresponding MDX file. So what we're going to do is we're going to probably, sorry, I'm breathing so hard into the mic. I apologize. We're actually going to repurpose basically everything we wrote in here and just dump it into this file with some extra steps. What I mean by that is it's not going to be looking for the home.mdx file. Rather, we want to destructure or extract the current path, I guess you could say, or the current subpath. So let me actually hide my sidebar real quick. So here I'm just going to call this I don't know, slug page maybe, or just page. Yeah, page seems appropriate. I never know what to name these, like whenever it's a slug page, I never know what to call them, to be honest, like from the root. But yeah, my lack of experience is showing, isn't it? So in here, we're going to take out the parameters of the route, and it's going to look like this. So params is going to have a type of params with another type of slug, which is going to be of type string. Cool. So now we can, instead of just like grabbing the result as is, what we have to do is we have to say relative path is equal to, and the relative path is going to be equal to whatever those params.slugs are. So params.slug. And by the way, this right here, this comes from the bracket. So because we named this slug, the params / whatever is named after this variable. So it's basically like a placeholder variable. So if we had called it bracket path, this would have been params.path. Well, maybe not path. I don't know about path. I haven't tested that one yet. But yeah, so that's basically where this value comes from. So what we're basically saying is the relative path is whatever that / whatever is. So if this was the / about page, then the slug would be about. So what we're saying here is the relative path would be about.mdx. All right. So what I'm going to do now is to make sure that an error 404 shows up if this route doesn't exist, I'm going to then, because this is a promise, I'm going to say .then, and then we're going to take the result, and we're going to return the result. So this .then is going to be fulfilled, this part of the promise is going to be fulfilled if this MDX file exists. But if it doesn't exist, so I'm going to say .catch. If it doesn't exist, then I'm going to console.error the error, And I'm going to return not found. And this is imported from the next/navigation package. So now we can save that. And back in, okay, that was weird. Back in just like the normal deployment, if I come here and I say /about, it's going to give me a 404, right? Because we did that not found. Now here's what's going to happen if I don't do that. It's going to give us errors because it's expecting it, right? And we don't want it to expect it. We want it to return a not found if it's not found. So that's kind of a neat little trick for you. So now that you have that, we actually have to go and create the create that about page. So I am going to copy pasta a ton of stuff, and I'll probably leave a link to my copy pasta site where I can like place all this stuff and have y'all go and copy it if you want it. So yeah, otherwise, I don't know, pause and try to copy as fast as you can. Do not recommend, or just, like write up your own markdown. I totally recommend that to everybody. So, or not your own markdown, use the admin pages, obviously. So we come here, this is the about.mdx inside of the content / page directory, like so. I'm gonna save that. And now I have to do a hard refresh. There we go. So now you'll see the .about renders the /about renders the content in about.mdx. So let's see. So that's that. Now I do want a better way of navigating back and forth between these pages. So I'm going to create a new component called header, and we're going to do that in the components directory. And I'm just going to say, I'm going to call this. Oh wait, no. I don't want to do it in app. I want to do it in components. So we're going to say header.tsx. And you might have noticed I'm kind of indecisive on how to name my files when I'm using NextJS. I typically tend to use camel case as much as I can, but because Next tends to use like file names as like path names sometimes, path names are usually kebab case. I tend to like mix and match. So if it confuses you, don't worry. I'm right there with you. So in the header, what we're going to do is we're going to export my headphones are currently entangled with my keyboard, so that's fun. So we're going to export default function header, and this, I don't know why I put a space there, probably because I'm a genius. This is not going to actually do anything. It's just going to return a header with classes of MB, margin bottom 20, margin top of 16, flex, content center, items center, justify between, font sans, text base. I probably didn't need to do font sans, but it is what it is. And in here, we'll add a div. It'll have a flex box and a gap of 4. Love gap. And now we're going to do a link. That should have imported it. It doesn't want to import it, so that's cool. So we're going to import it up here. So we're going to say import link from next/link, like that. And now we'll say the link is going to go to, the first link is going to go to home. So like that. And this is going to say home, like that. And then I'm just going to alt shift down this. And this one's going to go to about, and we'll say about. So now that's all fine and dandy, but we need to actually use it. So we're going to go to our layout, and what am I going to do with it? Oh, I'm going to add it over here. I'm going to say header, like so. Well, tell you what, we're going to struggle a little bit. That was supposed to import. There we go. And now we can save it. Now we can refresh. Oh, there it is. Okay. So that's cool. And I guess now that this is there, we have some screaming. Invalid CSS class names. Why are they invalid? Okay, that's funny. It corrects it and then it goes back to what it was. Okay, so we actually can get rid of the MY20. There we go. I don't know why it thinks there's invalid class name. Oh, it's because of pros. It always gets confused because of pros. Okay, so there you go. So now we have our little navigation. So we can go to home, go to about, yeah. So now we can go in and add the blog posts. So similar to what we just did, where we added the slug, we're going to come into our, let me close all these because that's way too much stuff. We're going to come into this app directory, and we're going to create a new folder called posts. Posts with an S? Yeah, that sounds good. And inside of what this is going to do now is this kind of like reserved posts. So if I come over here and I say /posts, it's going to go to 404 because there's nothing there. But if I come in here and if I come in here and add a page.tsx and I say, oh, there you go. See, it's actually trying to do it. So let me see, RFC. I don't know what we can call this. Yeah, that's fine. So now, so it's just going to say page because that's all there is here. But we don't want it to say that. And you probably guessed it. We're not actually going to be rendering any templates over here because we're going to need to add the posts to our config. And then we're going to need to like do basically the same thing that we were doing in this page where we render that we make an async call. We render that we pass the result of that call to the client side component, and then we render the template in the client side component. So the first thing that we actually have to do is we have to go to TinaCMS, and this is where we need to define our post. Save ourselves some time. I'm basically just going to copy this collection down. So like so, and we're going to call it, I'm going to show you a little trick. So we're just going to Control D this twice, hit the right arrow key, backspace 3 times, and then write post. So, so now we have our post config. Not really, it's not done yet. So, well, post collection, I should say. So we need to define, so we have the title, we have the body, but we also want to add a date over here. So we'll say the name is going to be the date. And, you know, like I'm sure like you can have like a published date and a last edited date and stuff like that, but we're not that fancy today. We're just going to make it nice and simple. So this type is going to be type date time. And we're going to give it a label. Now, in case you're wondering, the label, this shows up in the admin. So this right here, this is determined by this label property. And I'll show you what that looks like in a second. So say date. And I do want to make this required because, well, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to make the not required if you're going to be, because we're going to be sorting by it. So if it's not there, it's going to be hard to sort by it, right? Unless you want like post to be like getting shoved all the way to the bottom. Now, because it's required, we want to make things a little bit easier on ourselves. So we're going to add a default item, and this is going to be a function like so, and it's going to return. And basically in this default item, we can make the defaults for everything. So we can actually say title has a default of new post, and its date will be of new, not Nate, date, like that. Okay, let's add a comma over here. And yeah, so I think that's about it. Well, no, actually that's not right because this is going to be returning home. This is confusing. So let's see. So the document is going to be, actually I don't even need TypeScript here, it looks like, so that's cool. So this is not going to have this conditional. It's just going to have one return statement. It doesn't seem to like what I'm doing. Let's try that again. Oh, I have an extra bracket. There we go. So in here, we're going to return posts / where's my $? Oh my God, I clicked every single one except for $. Dude, there it is. Sorry, my keyboard is on my lap because it's more comfortable for my elbows. And but it makes me very inaccurate. So document _system .file name So same concept to what we did with the home, but this is going to be looking for the document in the posts collection. And we want to make sure that the file name is always going to have like a kebab case slug format. So go ahead and pause and copy this over here. We don't have to go into too much detail on this, but if you want to learn more about what's going on here, just look up regular expressions and you'll understand why I didn't dive too deep into it. So go ahead and save that. And now we can go and start actually working on the template. So let's see, back in our components directory, let me just close everything out like that. And back in our components directory, let's go into our app, component/app, and let's add a posts folder. And inside of posts, we're going to have, we're actually going to have two files. We're going to have the post list page. And this is going to be like when we go to the post, is going to have like all the list, like the list of all the posts, excuse me. And then we're going to have the post page. And this is going to be a single post.tsx like that. Okay. So the first one that we want to tackle is the post list page, right? Because that's the first one that we're going to run into. So for this one, let's actually grab this page.tsx because we're going to be like manipulating or doing something similar to what's in there. So it's easier to manipulate what we have than to write it again from scratch. So we're going to rename this to post list page component. And instead of taking in a page query, this is actually going to take in a post connection query, which now exists because we created the post config. This is not going to have a relative path. It's just going to be an empty bracket for the variables. And rather than this isn't going to have a content or a title. Rather, this is going to have const post list, which is going to be data.post connection.edges. Okay. Now down in this return statement, we can actually wrap, or we can get rid of that, to be honest. Just open up a React fragment. We're going to add an H1, which is going to say blog. I would like it if my headphone cable stops getting caught between my fingers. Cool. I already have such a hard time typing accurately. And then we're going to open up a div, and we're going to say post list .map, and we're going to pass in an anonymous function. Did my IDE just add that by itself? That's awesome. And people say VS Code sucks. VS Code is awesome. So now, I probably just created a whole lot of enemies by saying that. Okay, so now we're going to say div. And this, because this is an array, we have to provide it with a key. So key equals post.node.id. And inside of this div, we're going to add a link, which is going to be imported from next/link. It's going to have an href of a curly brace, which will contain an interpolated string, posts / and then $, got to write the second time, not bad. Post.node _ the system file name, like that. Close out the link. And in here, we're going to actually pass in the title. So we're going to say post.node.title for this particular array element. Cool. So we can save that and just get rid of this page query up here. And we're not using Tina Markdown, so we can get rid of that one here. Like so. Cool. So now let's actually use this. So back in our app / post / page, now we can actually use this there. So what we're going to do is take this return statement, and we're going to say, return post list page component, but it needs to take in, you guessed it, a result. But a result from what, you might ask? Well, as we did with the other page, we'll say const result equals await. Oh, I probably should define the function as a asynchronous function. So we'll say export default async function, and we'll name this async function post list page. I'm gonna hide my sidebar. There we go. So what we're gonna await is the client, which we need to import, dot queries. Did I spell that right? Yes. Dot post connection. Like that. Call that function and get rid of this export default. We can save. And now you see blog shows up, but no blogs actually show up. And the reason no blogs show up is because we don't have any blogs. So let's add some blogs. So back in the admin view, I'm going to go to this hamburger. I'm going to go to posts and I'm going to create a new blog. So let's see, what are we going to put in this blog, you might ask? I'm actually just going to copy pasta some stuff, and I'll probably like with the last one, I'll just leave a link with whatever copy pastas I end up providing. So I'm going to get rid of this posts directory because we're actually calling it post, not like the directory is being referred to as post. I just like the singular version of the word. So we're going to delete. Yeah, I don't want to deal with that right now. It's going to scream at me. So we'll just say cd content / posts. Wait, what did I? No, there we go. rmrf posts. I don't want to deal with the administrator permissions right now. So just get rid of that. And now in content, I'll create a new folder, call it post. And in here, I'll paste in these MDX files. So now if I refresh and go back to posts, interesting. Huh. Why is it doing this to me? Do I need to restart my server again? Maybe that's what it is. Let's give it a try. Okay, that was, yeah. So sometimes you have to restart your Tina server if you do what I just did, like adding a bunch of files. It's probably like, whoa, where did all that come from? So there you go. Now it's giving us a 404 because it doesn't actually recognize the post because we didn't create that route yet. But that's fine. So now you can see the posts are showing up. So let's actually add the the slug for the posts. So let's head into, I'm gonna close everything out. And let's head into, which one do I want to do first? I think it makes sense to do the app first, the component / app first. So in post, we need to go to post page, and post page is going to be structured pretty similarly to the normal page. So I'm going to grab the normal page, going to go to post page, and paste that there. And here, we're just going to rename this to post page component. And let me think for a second. So for this one, we're taking in the same exact props, except it's going to be post query, not page query. There we go. And data looks good. These are supposed to be post. That looks good. So now let's see. Down here we have an H1 where we're passing in the title, and we have a section where we're passing in the body. So we just can save that. I don't know if I want to make this a section or a div. It doesn't really matter, but there is something that I'm going to actually do now because might as well. So something that's like pretty interesting about how Tina works is like you can pass in when you're in the visual editor, you can have there's attributes that you can add to different parts of your HTML to basically indicate, hey, this thing that I'm going to click on in the UI, it corresponds with this field that I would like to edit. Let me show you how to do that real quick. So we're going to do it in this file first, and then we're going to go back and do it in the other ones as well. So to do that, all you do is pass in a data Tina field attribute, and in here, you will open up this curly bracket and you'll say Tina field. Okay, you got to import that. And you'll pass in, I think this one's just data. Yeah, data post. And the field is what? Hello. The field is body, like that. Okay. So this is going to tell it that the section that I'm hovering over corresponds with the body property, and then I can do the same thing for the title. So I do it like that, but instead of body, I say title, save that, and let me show you what that looks like. So back in the app posts, we'll add a slug folder, and in the slug folder, we'll add a page.tsx, and now I'm going to just yoink all this from the app/slug, paste it in the app/post/slug. And in this one, we're actually not going to have to like do this like not found nonsense. Instead, we're just going to like, well, you know what? Actually, it does make sense to have a not found for this one as well. But instead of page component, we'll say post page component, like that. Get rid of the page component, and here we'll say post page, and this is screaming at us a little bit. Property data is incompatible with page query. Where, oh, that's because I'm calling queries.page. It's supposed to be queries.post, like that. So we can save that. And now let me head back to the posts, go to one of these, and now you can see that data Tina field that I was talking about, that lets us do this. When I click on this part of the actual editor, or sorry, not the editor, the UI, it'll take me to its corresponding editor box. Same thing goes for the heading. See what I'm saying? So it's actually really nifty. So we can go back real quick and do it for the other ones. So let me do that real quick. So back in components, we'll go to page. And because I'm way too lazy and cannot be bothered to type things over and over again, I'm just going to yoink one of these like that. I'm going to go back to the page, and inside of the title, paste that there. Just need to, oh, wait, I didn't copy the whole thing. Let me copy the whole thing actually. So I forgot to copy the attribute like that. So now in this H1, just paste that there. And we just got to import Tina field. And this is going to be data page title. And I'm just going to copy this, go down to the section, and we're going to do the same thing, but for body, like that. So now if I, inside the source, what am I saying? Oh, there we go. And if I go back to home and I open up the editor, now you'll see that we have those editable boxes, which is pretty dope. So let's see. I think there's one more place where I can do this. So does this one need it? Well, that one already has it. This one doesn't need it, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Cool. So there you go. I think there's just like one more thing we have to do, which is going to the header and adding the blog to the header. So let's do that real quick. Let's go to components, header.tsx, and we'll just do an Alt-Shift down at the home. And do I want the blog to be next to home or next to about? Actually, we'll make it next to about. So we'll say blog, or not blog, posts and blog. And you can say posts if you want. I don't know. It looks nicer when it says blog, but posts semantically makes more sense. So there you go. Plus, I like something that can be turned into a plural easily. I feel like blog is a plural. So there you go. Now I think it's a good time for us to start adding in some theming. Because I don't know about y'all, but yikes, there's way too much white on this screen. I prefer dark mode myself, as viewers of this channel probably already know. So let's go ahead and fix that. So there are a couple of packages that we're going to need to install. The first one is yarn add React icons, because I love using icons as much as I can. And the next one is next themes. I think that's how it's spelled, right? No, whoops. What am I doing? It's next dat hyphen dash themes. You know what it is. Okay. So, excuse me. Come on now. Okay. So now that that's done, we are in dev again. Hide my terminal. And let's start adding these themes. The first theme, or not the first theme, the first thing that we're going to need to do is underneath the components, we're going to add a few files. Let's say the first one is, no, not a folder, a file, theme provider.tsx. We're also going to want a theme toggle.tsx. And we're also going to want a footer.tsx. And I know the footer doesn't seem like it fits in this in this theme thing, but I figured we might as well get it out of the way now. So let's go back to the localhost 3000, and let's start adding these in. So the first one, the theme provider, is pretty simple. We're just going to make, let me hide this sidebar. We're going to say use client, and down here we're going to say export function theme provider. This is going to take in children, props, and it's going to be of type theme provider props. Like so, like I try to say like that and like so, and I said like sat. You'd think English is not my first language. So now we're going to be importing the, this isn't going to work. Okay. So I need to import theme provider, but we're calling this theme provider. So we'll come up here and we'll say import theme provider as next theme provider. And this is from next theme, so that's correct. So now we'll come in here and we'll say next theme provider, where we'll pass in whatever props other than the children. And then inside of here, we'll say children, like that. Cool. So now we need to actually use this. And to do so, let's go into the app, and into the app layout, we will maybe above the body, no, within the body, say theme provider. Now remember, make sure you import it from components, not next themes, like that. We'll say attribute is class. The default theme is going to be system. And this is for freaks like me who always have everything in dark mode. I like whatever websites I come to automatically have my preference in effect. And if you don't want to do that, you don't have to do that. But after all, this is your blog. So if you want to enforce dark mode on people, well, this is the one place you can do it. So if we save that, interesting. Maybe I have light mode enabled. That would be crazy for me. I'm not a light mode kind of guy. Well, I guess there's only one way to find out. We need to go to our theme toggle, and we need to, we need to create the theme toggle. So this one's going to be fairly straightforward. We're going to say export function theme toggle. And if y'all have seen my videos, you've probably seen me do this a million times by now. Well, maybe not for next, because this is actually my first NextJS tutorial. So in here, we're going to return a React fragment that is going to contain a button, like that. The button is going to contain an on-click or click handler, which is going to take in an anonymous function or an inline function that uses set theme, which I haven't even imported yet. So not like that, set theme light. But we need to import this. So we're going to say const set theme, and we're going to destructure this from use theme, which still haven't imported. There we go. So we're just going to grab the set theme function from the use theme hook, and we're going to say that the first button is going to be the one that turns it to light mode. And this one is going to be hidden. We'll give it a text of gray 300. And when it's dark mode, it will not be hidden. That's what dark flex does. There is no like not hidden. So, or maybe there is and I'm just unaware of it. So inside of this button, we'll render the RX sun icon like that from the React Icons package, and we'll save that. So the second button is going to be for the dark mode. So this one is going to be text gray 600, so we can actually see the dang thing. And we're going to set the theme to dark when this one's clicked. So we'll save that. And inside of the header, let's first bring in that theme toggle just so that we can save our eyeballs. So we'll add a, I think we can add another div in here. We'll say flex, justify between gap 4, like that. And in here, we're going to add some more icons, but the first one that we're going to focus on for our poor little eyes is the theme toggle, like that. So we save that. Why isn't this showing? Oh, thank God. Okay, there it is. So there's our theme toggler. Man, that feels so much better. Okay, so I guess now that we're here, let's start adding in some more things. So I wanted to, I'm going to show you what this looks like in responsive mode. You might have noticed that like this right here, this is probably going to get a little unwieldy, especially when we start adding more icons over here. It's going to get really busy. So I want to make it so that when you're in a smaller screen, this text up top appears as icons, and they become text when you have a bigger screen. So on mobile, these will just be icons, and on desktop, it'll be full text. So it's a pretty simple thing to do. What we're going to do to get that done is basically a wrapper at this point. So we're going to add a class name of max small hidden. So basically says hide this until you reach a max small screen. So if I save that, you see the home disappeared. I'm just going to grab this like so and paste it into the about and the blog links. But now we have to actually render the icons. So we're going to add another link, href equals / so it's the same exact link, but this one is going to have a class name of when it's small hidden, because this is only going to show up until you reach the small breakpoint. So max small means this like, how do I explain this? So this means when you reach the small breakpoint, hide. This means hide it while you're in the small breakpoint. And then after you break out of the small breakpoint, this is no longer applies. I feel like that's even more confusing, but you'll see what I mean. So RX home, so we import this icon like so. So we save that. So now you'll see the icon shows up. Now, if I change this to responsive, you'll see when I resize, home appears, and then home disappears, and the icon shows up. So let's just copy pasta this down a few times. So we'll put it underneath about and underneath blog. For the about, we'll say /about. And for this one, I think for this one we'll say RX person. And for the posts, we'll say RX chat bubble. Save that, and there you go. So there's your blog, there's your about, and there's your home. Although the blog makes more sense if it's up front, so I'm actually going to move the about down a bit. So we'll move these underneath the blog like that. Cool. So let's see. Now I want to add some other links down here before the theme toggle. So we'll say link, and this one's going to be RI, YouTube, Phil, because always be plugin, you know what I'm saying? And this is going to be href. Whoa, well, that was a lot. href https youtube.com/@m6io. Like, comment, and subscribe. And then do these down twice. And we'll say the next one is RI Twitter. Phil, I officially have a Twitter for the first time in my life. So go follow. The Elon Musk doesn't like me, so M6IO is not long enough. And Mahmoud IO is already taken. I don't know who Mahmoud IO is. Coming for you. I'm just kidding. So M6 Codes is my Twitter handle. I don't know what Twitter is. I don't really use it. So feel free to go follow, and maybe you'll never see me tweet. So the link down here is going to be GitHub. Phil, this is the only one that matters, let's be honest. So we'll say github.com/m6io, where you can find a whole lot of code that probably won't get you a job. Now we'll say rx divider vertical, just to add a little line, just, for funsies. And in here, we'll add a class name of text gray 300, but when it's dark out, it's going to be text gray 600. Ooh, so spooky. Look at that. So now, if we go back to our iPhone SE, there you go. It's nice and busy, but it's also like, a little bit easier on the eyes than having the full text everywhere. And if I get rid of this dev inspector, there we go. So that's what it looks like. So there's our, there's our header. We added our theming, and the last thing we need to add is our footer. So let's go back to the components where we have footer. And this one's going to be pretty straightforward. We'll say export default. Why did I capitalize function? Function footer. And this is going to return a div with a Y padding of 10, center text, and text small. Bruh. There we go. It's going to have a horizontal rule and a p tag. And in here we'll say n link that I need to import from there. It took me way too long to think about. href https mahmood.io. This is where I'm going to be dumping all of my copy pasta as soon as I have some time. I know it takes me forever to do it, but I try my best. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and share with all your friends, so that way I'm more incentivized to do things on time. Underline offset 2 for the class name. Hover text emerald, because that is my favorite Tailwind color. 500. And hover underline. Now we can close this. M6IO. And then we'll add another spacer. Template. Save. And I need to actually use it. So we go back to, you know what? I shouldn't say that, because this is the text that I use for my actual template. But what I'll say is the M6IO blog. Save that. So now in app layout, underneath the main, I think underneath the main makes sense, right? Maybe. Yeah. We'll say, almost said footer. We'll say footer / save that. And there's our little footer. So, nice and cute, clean, elegant, if I do say so myself. So there you go. There's our nice little theme. Next thing we're going to do is, actually make this thing into an actual, proper portfolio. The next thing that we're going to add to the site is a projects page. It's going to operate somewhat like the posts, the blog posts, but instead of there being like individual pages for projects, it's going to just be basically like a grid of cards with information on all your projects that you can input in the CMS, but all of them will link out to the project's respective repos or whatever links that you have them connected to. And this is something that you can grow and expand as you like. I'm just showing you like an example of a good way to get started with it. So what we're going to do first is go into the Tina config. And well, before we do that, let me close everything because there's way too many things open. So we headed to the Tina config, and in here, we're going to create a new schema collection. So let me just minimize the posts. And actually, let's see, maybe I can simplify this real quick by copying the posts. Oh, you know what? While we're here, there is something I forgot to add. So we'll go ahead and take care of it real quick. I meant to actually have this file name also applied up in the pages. So I think that goes right there. Yeah, okay. So now let's just, to make our lives a little easier, we're just going to duplicate down this posts collection, like so. And let me just minimize everything and go back into the schemas, collections, and open the third one. So we're going to rename this one to projects. So we'll say projects like that. And I think for our fields, let's see what they are. So the title, yeah, that looks good. And then we don't really need the date, but we can just replace this with description. So we'll say the name would be description. Actually, I'm just going to do it the same way I did it earlier, like that, description. The type would be string, and the label would be description required. We'll make it true. And the next one is body, but we really don't need that. We can just have this be a string for the link. So I'm going to duplicate down the description and get rid of the body. And like if you decide that you want to have like individual pages for the projects, then I'll leave that up to your discretion. Should be fairly simple to implement since you have basically most of that boilerplate done with the posts anyways. So we'll say this is going to be the link, and I'll make this required as well. I don't believe we're going to have a default item for this, so I'll just get rid of this. And I'll keep actually, we don't need the router either because this came from the demo code from earlier. So we don't need the good Lord, I can't speak today. We don't need the router because we're not having like individual routes for every one of the projects because the projects are just linking out of the site to another site. And you'll see what I mean in a second. But if you want to keep it like, if you want to have a similar UX to your to the posts, then you can do it that way. And I believe for the format, we can actually get rid of this MDX because we don't really need it to be MDX. You can if you want, but since we don't have a body, we can just keep these as markdown since there's nothing really like crazy going on in there. Okay, so that's it for the project config. Now we have to actually create the components. So I guess the first thing we should do is create the actual component, since that's typically how we go about doing it. Well, we can't really show anything with the projects with just the router, since we need to like fetch the data first. So let's say inside of app, we'll create a new folder. We'll call it projects. And inside of projects, we'll create a file and we'll call it project list page.tsx. And I'm going to copy over the post list page. I'm just going to copy all this content and go into the projects list page, paste that in there. And let's start modifying this. So let me just hit Control B to hide that. So For this one, I'm just going to Control D all the places where post appears. And I'm going to hit right and then backspace 3 times and type project. So now this isn't really how we're going to go about doing this, because this link, for example, should not send to a internal link. This should actually send out like this should send us out to another link, like outside of the project, which would actually be let me see. We can get rid of it's way too much. We can get rid of this and we can say project.node.link and it will link us there. So let's just save this real quick, head back into our app and create a new folder called projects and a file called page.tsx. Let's go to our posts and let's copy what we have in post/page like so. Go back into project/page and paste that there. And now we're just going to replace, like we did before, replace every instance of post with project like that. And we save. And now we just need to add a header somewhere over here, like that. And in the header, we'll copy down the about like that. And we'll just replace these 3 with projects like so. Just make sure to capitalize this one. And instead of RX person, we'll say RX code. Cool. So we save that, and now we have our projects tab. So I can click on that, and it'll scream at me because cannot return null for non-nullable fields. Yeah, that's probably because we haven't created a content/projects link yet, or projects file. So let's do that. So content/project. Let's see. So if we Control-Shift-R, non-nullables. Let's see. So if we go to project list page and I see. So we say if no project list return. Could have swore that would work. Okay, so for some reason I had to restart my Tina server and refresh a few times, but now it's working. I do got to replace blog with projects, or I'll just say my projects like that. So we don't have any projects, so let's go ahead and create some. Let me see. If we head into our admin, go to projects, and let's create some new ones. For my first one, we'll say I'll use my JSON schema autodoc project, and we'll say for its description, you can tell I already wrote this in here. So we'll say a sample app showcasing how one might generate auto documentation, and then in here, oh, nice. It's actually kind of crazy that it saved all this in my autofill. Which one was it? I think it was JSON schema autodoc. There it is. Cool. So there we go. Have that one, and I'll just autofill the other ones. So we had, I think my React Vite. What did I call it? React plus Vite plus Tailwind starter, and a quick starter template. And for my link, I believe it was, there we go. Save that. And you can do this on your own as well. So I'm just going to quickly go through these. So for this one, I believe it was RJSF, React JSchema form, Tailwind, Tailwind implementation, and for the link, this one was RJSF Tailwind Vercel app. Cool. Some useful repos for y'all to check out if you're into that kind of thing. And this one was the shadcn Vite template. For the description, a React plus TypeScript. There we go. And for this one, I think it was shadcn Vite template like that. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit because I can't see. And save that. And then I have one more, I think, for this one. So for this one, I'll say, I think it was my YAML validator. So YAML validator. So this is a simple YAML editor. And then for the link, it was the, there it is. We'll save that. Cool. So, whoop, I don't know why I zoomed out so far. Okay, so now if I go back to my, I was really hoping it would take me to the page. Okay, can I just see this like without having to go all over the place? Yo, let me see the thing. Okay, there we go. I don't know why I was tripping so hard. So if I go to my projects, there we go. So now I don't want them to look like this. This kind of looks bad. So I want to clean up the aesthetic a little bit. Back in project list page, and as a matter of fact, I'm gonna refresh real quick to see them. There we go. In project list page, we're gonna change up how we're doing this slightly. So rather than have this div and these projects be listed out in this way, what we're going to do is the following. I'm going to add some classes to this outer div over here. Here, I'll just enter over here and copy out whatever I need. So we'll say div.mxauto.grid calls 1.gap 4 medium breakpoint grid calls 3 and large breakpoint mx of 0. Okay, and inside of this div we are going to contain 3 smaller divs. So the divs are going to look like this: div.grid calls 1.gap 4, like that. And inside of here, we're going to basically have this same projects list.map, but before it .maps, we're going to first .filter. And this filter is going to take an anonymous, not anonymous, how do I explain this? So when you add an underscore, it basically means like I'm not actually going to use the component, not the component, the element. Rather, I'm only going to use the index because that's all we really need for this filter. So it's basically saying like I'm not actually going to use the element that I'm mapping over. That's it. It's just to avoid the type error. And like I always say, I always use the ANFN command and then end up deleting half of it. So we'll say I modulo, where's my percentage? There it is, 3. So this is going to show the first third of the things, of the projects. And what that basically means is like the first third of the items will appear in the first column, the second thirds will appear in the second column, and the third third. I don't know what I was saying. So that's kind of how we're going to do this. And we're going to add cards in a second. So for now, this should be sufficient. So there you go. Let me just do the same thing twice more. So we'll just Alt-Shift down this twice. And I'm going to get rid of this div down here because we don't really need that anymore. And we'll say for here, this is going to be for the second column, so we'll do equal 1. And this one will be for the third column, so we'll do equal 3. And there you go. So now it'll always be 3 columns. But we don't want to have them as links. We want to have them as cards. And to do that, we're going to create a new component. We don't have to, but this component is not going to require is not going to require client-side routing. So that's why I'm splitting it out, because its parent component is a client-side routed component. I want to separate this logic out so that way we minimize the amount of stuff that's being sent to the front end for rendering. So here we'll say, at least that's how I think it works. Maybe I was misled. I could be wrong. TSX. So this is going to be link card.tsx, and it's going to look like this. So we're going to say export const link card. And if you've done some of my tutorials in the past, you'll know like I have a affinity for link cards. These are just like big boxes that when you can click on the whole thing and it'll take you to one page. Just a nice little, it's a different way to show links in my opinion. I said it a different way. I meant a better way, but that's subjective. So here we'll say link is of type string, title is of type string, it doesn't like it when I define things like that. Description is of type string. And this is going to be an arrow function, and in the function body, we're going to return the JSX template. The JSX template is going to be an outer next link, like so. And in here, we're going to pass in some classes, which I will actually paste in here because it is going to take me way too long to read all this out loud. So go ahead and pause the video, write these classes into the link, and we're also going to have the href be defined as the link that gets passed in. So this means that the link is required. So because all these things are required at like when we define the links, then they should be available. Should be not being like a they should be, but they cannot. No, like you can't even define the things unless these three properties are defined. So for the target, we'll say underscore blank, and all this does is make it so that when you click the link, it opens up the link in a new tab instead of the current tab. So inside of the link, we'll add an article tag, and this article is going to have a class name of P4, and at the medium breakpoint, it'll have padding of 8. There we go. One of these days I'll learn how to type. So the next thing we want to do is we're going to have an H2 that's going to have z index of 20, text of X. You know what? I'm just going to paste these in because this is not really useful part of the tutorial. So go ahead and pause it and copy these over. And let me save this just so it looks clean. So yeah, please pause it, copy it over because you're going to want these classes for the next part. And once you got that done, we're going to head back to, where were we? Post list page, like this. And in the post list page, instead of returning this div and this link like this, sorry, not post list page. What am I saying? Projects list page. Yikes, my bad. So instead of returning this div and this link like so, what we're going to do instead is we're going to pass in the link card, which we will import like so. And this link card, I should probably close it like that. This link card is going to take in a key because it is iterable. And we'll say project.node.id for the key. And for the link, we'll say project.node.link. And I'm just going to alt down this twice. For the next one, I'm going to swap out the link for title. And for the link after that, I'll swap out this one for description. I'm getting an error. Oh, yeah, it was that space. Okay, cool. So now I'm just going to copy this down to the next two, like that. Save that, and there you go. And then it is pretty responsive. So when you go to mobile, it's just like a stack of cards. When I click on one of these, take me to a new tab. So this one's for my React Tailwind starter, whatever. This is my RJSF Tailwind repo. So, just nice little way to represent your projects. So I think that's it for the let's just clean some stuff up. So we just remove that. And I think, I think that's it for the projects. So yeah, there you go. So let's go back and start cleaning up the way our homepage and our blog pages look. We're going to start off with the homepage. It's looking a little sparse. So I do want to add like I want to make this be like more of a living blog. So I want to add like the most recent posts to the front page. That way, when like, you know, someone that wants to see like what you're about, they come to your portfolio page and they see, oh, look at that. They have some latest posts, and like they'll be like in descending order by date. And how we're going to go about doing this is in our components, we're actually going to change up how we're dealing with this page component. Previously, this component was being shared by both the home page and like I never know what to call it, but like whatever slug is, like whatever slug page, like the about page, for example, they both share the same component. But we want the home page to be a little bit different because it's going to operate a little bit differently. So in that vein, what we're going to do is create a new file called homepage in the app in the components/app directory, homepage.tsx. And this homepage is going to contain essentially what's in the page.tsx, like so, with a little bit of an extra twist. So we're going to come up here, we're going to rename this to homepage component. And because this component is not really going to be taking a path anymore, because it's going to be dedicated for the homepage, we can actually get rid of that relative path variable. And in order to actually use this, we're going to need to do something quickly to get this working the way we want, because we're not going to be using the page query. Instead, we're going to be doing something that we haven't done before, which is creating a custom GraphQL query. I think we can just call this query. So this is like part of the Tina API. We haven't dealt with this part yet, so this is like new ground. And to be honest with you, my GraphQL is not that strong, so I'm essentially going off of examples. So in this query, we're going to say, we're going to call this home.gql, like that. And in here, we're going to create a query called homepage. We are going to add a filter, which will be of type post filter, because we want to be querying posts on the homepage. And in here, we're going to say page relative path is going to be home.mdx. So this is the path that this page is going to render on. And we're going to just expand out the page parts here. I would encourage you to read the Tina docs on this because, to be honest, I'm still learning this part myself. So then we're going to say post connection is going to be sorted by date. Whoa. Why did that come out green? Why did that come out like a comment? That's strange. Not sure what that's about. Is it because there's no space? Oh, it's because there's no space. Okay. For the filter, we'll just say filter. And we want the last five. We want the last 5 posts to be the ones that come out in this query. So we're going to say edges. Whoops. Node. Title. Date. ID. Hello. Date. ID. Underscore system. So these are all the parameters that we want back. Not the parameters, the data points. Dude, where is my underscore? Oh my God, I'm dancing around the thing. System and file name. So these are the things that we want to query from the post connection. I think I'm saying that right. So now we have our GraphQL query set up. So now to use that, all we have to do is in the homepage component, we just swap this out with homepage. Hello. That should not be giving me errors. I'm pretty sure this is right. Homepage. Maybe I need to restart my server. Let's see. I probably do need to restart my server because it's a new query that we're requesting. So homepage, yeah, there it is. Okay, sorry, that was weird. So we have our homepage query. Let's see. We don't care about the title. Do we care about the title? Yeah, we do care about the title. What am I saying? This is the homepage. Nothing changes. Now we need to say const post list because we're actually going to have access to the post list now. So we're going to say data.post connection because now we have access to this. .edges, so similar to what you've seen before. So what I'm going to do, before I get rid of everything that's in here, we're gonna kind of like redefine the return for the home page. So we're gonna say it's gonna be a section with a C, section, and well, this is gonna be a long one, so I'm just gonna paste these styles in here real quick. So we'll give it that prose, and we'll also give it a dark prose, like so. And inside of this section, we will grab this H1, throw that in there, and we're going to redefine this section as an article, and post that in there, and we can get rid of this article. And then under here, we will add a I cannot speak. We'll add some curly braces, and we'll say post list. So if the post list exists, we'll say post list and post list dot length is greater than 0, like so. So basically, if there's a post list and if the length is greater than 0, because I don't want to show this if there is no if there are no posts. So if that's all true, then we're going to return a section. This section is going to contain an H2 with the classes margin top of 8 and text of 3XL, like so. And we're going to say latest posts. Save that real quick. And as a matter of fact, I am going to quickly use this in our homepage just so that we can see this happening live as we do it. So in our app, we'll go to page.tsx, and instead of, we actually have to change this kind of significantly. Let me see. So we got to change this query to homepage. And because we are querying the relative path in the GraphQL query, we don't actually need this anymore. So we can just do it that way. And instead of using the page component, we're using the homepage component, like that. So we can get rid of that import, save that, refresh real quick, Control-Shift-R. Okay, there we go. And you see latest posts. So even though it might seem counterintuitive, because what we were doing before, we said if there's no posts, then don't show latest posts. But there are posts. We just haven't decided to render them yet. So down underneath this H2, we'll add a unordered list, and we'll say list circle. And that's just the styling for the bullet points. Okay, I guess it doesn't like that. We'll just do ul dot, and then I'll type it in like this. Sometimes I think it's Emmet. Sometimes Emmet doesn't know. Maybe it's not Emmet. I don't know which extension it is. But sometimes it doesn't know like what characters constitute like a class name. Yeah, IntelliSense problems. Remember how much I said I love VS Code? So post list dot map edge of type any, and I know it's not of type any, but I don't really feel like looking into the type for that right now. I'll probably figure it out at some point. I should. And here we're going to return a list item. Why am I getting so many errors? Oh, this is supposed to be wrapped in a hello. This. Wait a minute. No, that's right. I just need to return this inside of a brace like that, or a parentheses like that. So this list item is going to have a key of edge.node.id, and we'll give it a class name of margin y of 0. There we go. And in here, we'll use the link if we don't have it imported already. href equals the post. So we'll say slash post slash $, curly braces, edge.node._system.filename, and close that tag. And now inside of here, we'll say edge.node.title. So we'll use the title for this particular post. Add a space. And then we're going to add a span with a text small class and text gray 400. In here, we'll add another spacer like that. And we'll say, ooh, I need to add a package. So we need to add moment, even though like you don't need to add moment, but why not? We're adding moment. So you're going to add moment, assuming I don't already have this added. Come on, buddy. You can do it. Okay. And we'll add the moment types. So we'll say yarn add -d at types /moment. And before I get any angry customers in my DMs, moment is still in maintenance mode. So it's not technically deprecated. So we can still use it for things, even though it's probably not the best package to use according to their own docs. So in here, we'll say moment. I think I need to actually import this up top. So we'll say import moment from moment, like so. Let me get rid of this page query while we're here. Cool. So inside of this moment, we are going to pass in the edge.node.date. And we're going to give it a format of mama month, day, year, like that. So, I don't know why I just said it like that, but there you go. See, look, it looks so much cleaner now. You know, it's in descending order. It's got dates assigned, and you know, nice little front page aesthetic. Of course, I completely don't know how to spell circle, so that's why the the bullet points aren't showing up as circles. But there you go. So now those are showing up properly. So I think that basically covers it for the changes that we wanted to make for the homepage. Now we can actually go ahead and apply these same changes to our blog. In our, here, let's close some files real quick. So we'll just get rid of all those. In our post list page component, what we'll do to sort the blog posts, I believe there's a way to do this with GraphQL, but I don't know. I tried to like dig through the Tina docs, and I don't know if it's like, I don't know what it is, but I wasn't able to figure it out. So, and of course I'm way too lazy to actually post like anything on their docs or on the Discord, like asking for clarification. So instead we're going to do this a little bit of the manual way. So right underneath where we're actually defining the post list, we're going to say post list dot sort, and we want to sort from by descending dates. So we'll say A of any, B, hello, I don't know why I said that, A of, oh, it's because I need to add another one. So there we go. A of type any, B of type any, and I know these are dates, but I don't know. It is what it is. So in here, in our function block, we'll say const date A type any equals new date a dot node dot date, and then that's supposed to be a space there. We'll just duplicate this down. It's really late here right now, so I'm kind of just like doing things the not best way. So forgive me for this. So, I mean, it works. It's just not the cleanest code. Return date B minus date A. Do not judge me by the code that I write at 10 p.m. So go ahead and save that. And now you'll see that things are sort of being sorted by date. But you wouldn't really know, would you? Because we're not actually providing the dates. So we can address that real quick by actually adding some of these dates. So let's see. In our return, right above, yeah, so right over here, I'm actually going to change up how we're doing this. So we're going to make this an unordered list with a class name of margin 0 and padding left 0, like that. And inside of this unordered list, let's see, where does this close? Closes right there. Cool. So inside of this unordered list, we'll say that the posts are returning a list item instead of a div, and we can keep the key the way it is, but we do want to add some classes here. So we'll say class name equals margin top 0. Every time I say margin top, I feel like I'm about to say Marjorie Taylor Greene, not to get political on y'all. So give that a margin top of 0, padding bottom of 2, and then inside of here, we're going to cut this link. So don't delete it, just cut it. And we'll say div flex. Inside of the div, we'll say span text small, text gray 400, 400. And if this is starting to look familiar, it's because we're basically recreating what we did on the other page. Here we'll say moment. Oh, it let us import it this time. Nice. Post.node.date. And format of month, the day, year, like that. Okay. And you have to say it like that, otherwise it doesn't work. I'm just kidding. Sorry, 10 p.m. coding. Shouldn't do it. Post node system file name. That's right. And then I think we're going to save that. And man, that's nice. All right. So I figured I would make this a little bit. Wait, hello. Oops, I clicked on a link. I figured I'd make this a little bit cleaner, like even cleaner than it already is, by adding a tags filtering mechanism. So what I mean by that is I want to have it so that you can like assign tags to your different blog posts and then be able to filter by those tags. So let me kind of show y'all what I mean. How should I do this? So what we'll do is we first got to head into our TinaConfig, and down in the post collection, we need to add a new field. This is going to be, we'll put it underneath the date and above the body. So for this field, dude, come on now. There we go. For this field, it's going to be, we're going to name it tags. And we're going to say, this is a type of string, not a type of string. Tags are of type string. That's a more correct way to say it. And the label is going to be tags. And we're going to say list is true because we want this to be an array. So we save that. And the way we want this to work is we want it to be like where when you click the tag, like I don't want to have to deal with a separate, I guess, data point that has to be cross-referenced, like a tags collection or anything like that. Instead, what I want to do is when you click the tag, I want it to take you to a specific URL like post/tags/whatever tag you clicked on. And it in the actual like blog list, it only shows the blogs that contain that tag. So that means we're going to have to create a new route. In our app/posts, let's create a new folder and we'll call it tags, right? So this is going to be the subroute or the subpath of posts. It's going to be post/tags. Then, similar to how we did it with the slug before, we'll do tag. So it's going to be our parameter name. So inside of tag, we'll say page.tsx, like that. And in page.tsx, what we're going to do is export a default async function called post page by tag. And this one is we're going to take the params. I don't know if I need the comma there. And this is going to be of type params, which is of type tag that is of type string. I don't even know if I'm saying that correctly in English. is of type. So here we'll say we want to basically get the posts. So this is going to be just like the posts, the post routes, but it's gonna apply the filter right after the query. And I do agree to any dissent where you might be saying, hey, just do this in the GraphQL. And I agree with you, but the docs are kind of not that great. And GraphQL's doesn't have a whole lot of TypeScript in it, so I can't really make sense of the API, the Tina implementation that well. So we're freestyling. It's not the best thing, but you're getting this for free. So we're going to say the result is going to be, so what we're doing right now is we're kind of like modifying the structure of the result. So in this case, the result is going to be posts.query. Data is posts.data. Variables are posts.variables. So we're basically like destructuring all the contents of the posts, but with an added parameter called tags, or property, I should say, params.tag. So after we've destructured the params, now we will assign them here. Why are you screening? Oh, I didn't import it. That's why. There we go. So after that, we're going to return post list page component. And this will take in ... result. Now you might be wondering, hey, why don't you have a different component for this? This is the post list page. And to that I'll say, it's because we're going to modify the post list page to take in an optional param called tag. Okay. So what that means is in our post list, which I'm pretty sure is right here, in our post list component, or post list page component, excuse me, we're going to have to do a little bit of modification to our props type definition. So down here, we're going to say tag ? Which means that this is an optional property or an optional prop. And we're going to say this is of type string. Okay. And down here, where we're actually defining our post list, we're going to have to change this. So what this is going to now say is post list equals props.tag. So if props.tag is present, then data.postConnection.edges. Did I spell that right? Yeah. Dot filter. So we're going to filter out, we're going to filter out any of the posts that contain the tag that was passed in. So the tag that's passed in as a parameter in the URL will be used to filter out the posts that we actually show. So let's see, post any, arrow function block. So we'll say if post.node.tags. So if the post actually has tags, and post.node.tags.includes props.tag. So first, does it even have tags defined? And then, does it include the props.tag? Then return post. Okay? If none of this is true, then just return data.postConnection.edges. Okay? Post list sorting stays the same. And down here, because, so down here we actually like, how do I say this? So one of the things that we want to show is not just like the tag, not just the things that are shown by tag, but we also want to have the tags themselves. And this is going to be a little tricky because we have to show all of the tags that exist across all the posts. And we also want to show, well, how many of those tags exist that we can filter by. So this is how we're going to do it. We're going to create a new variable called tags, and tags is going to be equal to data.postConnection.edges. That's not a P. Let's try that again. Post connection edges.reduce, and we're going to say the accumulator, and this is going to be of type any, and the post, this is also going to be of type any, and we'll say inside of the function block, first we want to check if the current post actually has any tags. So we'll say if post.node.tags, and if this is true, then we're going to iterate over each of the tags. So post.node.tags.for each, and we'll say NFN tag of type any, and then in the function body, we're going to say if the tag already has, if the tag is already inside the accumulator, then increment the count. So if accumulator has the tag, then, oops, there we go. Then ACC accumulator tag, and where's my plus? Bruh. Oh my God. Okay, we're having technical difficulties. There we go. Just remove that P. Increment the tag. Okay. Otherwise, else, what we're going to do otherwise is add it with a count. So we'll say ACC tag equals 1. Okay. And then, let's see, right over here, we're going to return the accumulator. So return the accumulator function, like so. And then after this, we have to initialize the accumulator as an empty object. So we'll do it like so. So now tags is going to contain the count of every tag across all of the posts. So let's say data, post connection, edges. There we go. Cool. So let me kind of show you what that looks like. So if I come over here and I say log tags like that, and then I open up my dev inspector, you'll see there's an object that contains a whole lot of nothing. All right. And well, how do we get it to show stuff? Let's start adding some tags. So let's head to our hello. Okay. Hello. Let's restart this. That's weird. Okay, yeah, I don't know what that was about. So let's go to building a to-do list, and let's start adding some tags. So for the tags, we'll say, I don't know, Vite, React, and TypeScript. Let me hide my terminal because it's bothering me. Okay, and we'll say, I don't know, project. Okay, save that. And let's head, nope, wrong button. Let's head back to our posts and let's go to fascinating facts about CSS. So here we'll say CSS informational, and we'll say web, dev, and front end. Cool. Let's save that. Let's head back to our posts. And I know it's a little asinine, but like you'll get the point once you see it. So for this one, this is going to be React, next.js. Let's see, did I have TypeScript in this? I did not have TypeScript in it. Yeah, there's a JavaScript. So we'll say JavaScript for this one. JavaScript, web, dev, and I'll say tutorial, Save that. All right. So let's see. This one's for remix. So we'll say remix web dev tutorial and TypeScript, JavaScript, JS. I don't know. We'll say JavaScript. Save. And let's see, one more. Understanding the oh my god, I cannot speak. The React use effect hook. So we'll say React use effect explainer. Save. Okay, so there was a point to this lesson. So now when we refresh, if I Control Shift refresh, there we go. So I'll pull over my console. My geez, I cannot speak. My dev tools. Man, that was really hard for me to get out. And you'll see that we have all these tags. So you'll see tutorial showed up twice, JavaScript showed up twice, NextJS once, React 3 times. So this is kind of what we wanted. So now that we have these tags, we can actually go and start like rendering them, but like not just underneath the like each one of these, but also as like a sidebar where we can click on it and have it be a router, or have it be full of routes that point towards the filter route. So, or the route that has the tag parameter. So let's go ahead and start getting that done. So first one, I guess the first one we can do is the actual sidebar. So right under here where we have the H1 with the blog, we'll I'm actually going to paste some of these styles in because this is a lot of styles. So the first one, so we're first going to have these two outer divs. Let me close these real quick. Okay, so these divs are going to be like a nice little containment box. So we'll save that. And actually, I think this div needs to be closed outside of here, like that. There we go. Because we want to have like the tags to appear at the left of all the articles, or all the blog posts, I should say. So inside of this left div, we're gonna first have an anchor tag that when we click on it will basically take us to posts, and we're just gonna call this all posts. So go ahead and copy this over, and this is what it's gonna look like. So when you click on this, which you can't click on it now because as you can see, this right here says if props.tags is undefined, then disable the pointer events and make it green, which basically means this is the one that's currently active. So you can't really click on it because there are no tags being passed to the props, being passed by the props, excuse me. And actually, I made a mistake. This a tag has to be inside of a div. So it's going to be div.px6.py4, like so. And that, yeah, there we go. Gives it a little bit of space. So the next thing we want to do is we want to add this unordered list right underneath here. So underneath the a tag, we'll open up this unordered list. And inside of this unordered list, we're going to map over the tag's keys, like so. And what's happening here is because our tags are defined as an array of key value pairs, or a map, we need to iterate over the object keys. So remember, if you look at this object over here, let me just pull it over, like so. So this is the actual object, right? So you have the key of CSS, and you have the key and the value being 1, right? The count. So we need to iterate over the keys as though they're array elements. So that's what object.keys does, is it basically converts all of the keys into their own array, and we iterate over them, and then we can do funky things with them, right? So what we're saying here is we're iterating over the keys of the tags object, and we're going to say map tag, whoops, hello, where'd we go? Okay, and inside of this array, we're going to return a list item for each one of the tags with class name of margin y. Let me hide my sidebar and give us some more space. Margin y of 3. I can't tell if that's 2 or 3. It's late. And we'll give it a key of tag because the tags are going to be unique since they're technically counts. Because like we're only going to have like one object that has CSS, and the other value is going to be how many times CSS has shown up. So logically speaking, they're going to be unique since they are the result of a count. So inside of the list item, we will provide a link object. So we'll say a link. Well, not link object. Sorry, link element. And this is going to have a. Actually, tell you what, I'm just gonna copy these classes because this is going to be really confusing, and it's a lot. It's a lot of classes. So we'll say class name equals this, right? So all this is saying is if the tag that's being iterated over is identical to the props.tag, meaning the tag that's being passed in from the URL, then show the same styles as before, which is basically this is the active tag styles. Yeah. So more or less. And then we're going to give it a ARIA label of view posts tagged. And I know this is the first time you saw me do an ARIA label today. This is supposed to be a backtick, by the way, like that. So in here, we're going to say view posts tagged by tag. Close that. And the href in here will go to /post/tags $$ brackets tag, like that. Okay, so we can close that. And inside of here, we will show the tag. And in parentheses, we will show how many of the tags. Well, what this is saying is like, what is the value of the tag at the position of the tag? So it's a little confusing, but like if the tag is CSS, for example, then what this is saying is inside of the tags object at the value CSS, that value would be the number that's associated with it. So we can go ahead and save that and get a whole hell of a lot of errors because we did not close our, we didn't close this. So let's close that. So we owe this JSX to close. Dude, where are my parentheses? Oh my God. Okay. I'm having a stroke over here. What the heck? Okay. And we can also, I'm just going to close this with a curly brace and save that. And there we go. So now you see all of our tags. So when we click on one of these, you'll see it only shows the thing that has the tag of informational. We click on web dev and it breaks. So that's good. Hello. Oh, interesting. I think it's because of the, it's because of the space. Okay, that's cool. I didn't know that. So I'm going to have to figure out how to validate this so that it doesn't have the, wow, that's really interesting. Okay, I hadn't run into that before. Here, let's fix that real quick. So what do you know? You find bugs all the time. So let's see, this doesn't have it. This has it. So we'll just say web-dev, save that. Man, that's crazy. I didn't even think about the spaces. I'm also going to change NextJS to one word, just in case that has any impact. So we'll say post. This one's fine. Post, setting up a new thing. Web-dev, save. And I think that's it, right? So we have setting up a new, yep. I think that's it. So let's head back over here, give it a hard refresh. And now we click on web dev. Okay, that's cool. Click on front end, informational, CSS, tutorial, JavaScript, NextJS. So let me close my console inspect. There we go. So I do want to actually sort these because there's like this funny thing that happens where like they get reordered for some reason. And I think it has something to do with like it's showing the things that have the tags. Actually, I have no idea. I'm not even going to try. So I'm going to sort them alphabetically like that. And we'll say the first is type any, the second is of type any, and we're going to say a.key.local compare b.key. Okay. Interesting. What? Any, not Abby. Save that. Oh my God. I forgot the E. There we go. Cool. So now we don't have that weird issue where it's reordering them because now they're ordered alphabetically, which is awesome. So the last thing we want to do is we want to show the tags underneath each one of the blog posts. I know. It's a lot, but we are almost there. I think, hopefully. So let's see. Down underneath the link, we're going to add a post.node.tag. So if this exists, or if this is true, then, and down here, we're going to add a div with a flex wrap, cap2, font sans, text small, uppercase, text emerald 600, dark text emerald 400, enter. And in here, we'll say post.node.tags.map ANFN. They almost got me again. I always mess up the ANFNs in this in these tutorials. Any that open a parentheses, found it the second time. Look at me, I'm learning. Link like that. Sorry, I'm making space because I realized I was at the bottom of the thing and y'all probably have no idea what I'm doing. So in here we'll say href equals curly braces tilde post tags tag. Okay, so it goes to that link, and we'll give it a class name of underline. Did I spell underline right? Underline offset 2, and on hover we'll give it the underline, and then we'll say key equals tag, and inside of the link we will say tag. So we save, and look at that. So now these links operate the same way as these. So if I'm hovering over this and I want to say, you know what, let me filter by JavaScript. What? Hold up. No way. Get out of here. Okay. Interesting. Oh my God. Sorry. I said post, not posts. Man, that was underwhelming. Let's try that again. Okay, that's working. Tutorial, NextJS. Okay, so now only this shows React, and you'll see that it's actually updating it over here too. Isn't that cool? There you go. So now you got a nice little filtering mechanism. Oh my God. Let's see what it looks like in day mode. Oh, well, everything looks like trash in day mode. Let's be honest. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, that's, hold on. Let me double check my notes. I can't believe that's it. If that's it, I'm gonna do a dance real quick. Oh my God, that is it. Okay. So the last thing that we want to do is we want to get this ready for deployment. So in order to do that, no, there is one more thing that we can do. And I think you'll appreciate this. So there's a way for us to extend what content we can render in our MDX by essentially expanding the rich content blocks. So we can add, like, if you come to these posts, for example, you see all these elements over here. So these are all like I guess custom like components. So like you have your code block, for example. You have like, I don't know, like your image, hyperlinks, all that kind of stuff. But you can also add your own custom components in there. And I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. So let's see. I'm kind of going off the cuff here. So hopefully this doesn't take too long. So what we're going to need to do first is we're going to need to create this like rich text schema. So if we go to our Tina config, tell you what, we're going to add a new file and we're going to call it rich text schema.ts. Okay. And in here, we're going to have a few definitions. So we're going to say export const rich text components. And this is going to be of type template, which is a TinaCMS type. And it's going to be an array of templates. And in this array, we are going to, did I open up an array or a bracket? Oh, or a curly brace? No, that's an array. And we're going to say Tina table template. So we're going to first add the Tina table template. That one's like given out the box from Tina. And the next one we're going to add is a video player. So we'll say name, video player, label, video play. That was supposed to be in quotes like that. And for this fields, this is a custom block that takes in its own fields. So for these fields, there's going to be the URL. So we'll say name, URL. Let me hide my sidebar, give me more space. Label, video, URL, and type is going to be string, like that. And then underneath here, we'll give it a custom UI, and we'll give it a default item, and the URL, the default item is going to be one of my YouTube videos because I am unoriginal. Let me find one real quick. Since none of y'all watch my videos anyways, I figured I'd go ahead and plug one over here. So we'll say you have to go here. This is the default URL. So if you add one, it'll shove this video unless you change it. Always be plugging. Next one, we'll say name. This is going to be a captioned image. I need to open up a bracket first. So we'll say name, captioned. And a lot of this is based on the examples provided by TinaCMS. So I do want to like shout out the Tina themselves because they be giving us a lot of examples. And it's pretty awesome because I'm pretty sure they're like a 10-person team or something. They're grinding, and I respect the grind. Okay, so we'll open up an array, and we'll say this bracket is going to have name, image, URL, label, image, URL, type, image. And this is just going to be a custom little captioned image. So an image that has a caption underneath it. Tell you what, I'm just going to paste in the rest of these because I feel like saving you and me some time. So go ahead and pause it, copy them over. There we go. So there's the caption, and then there's the image alt. The next one is a tweet embed. So I'll paste that there. It's got a nice little default tweet for you. Definitely copy this over. Do not copy this over. So the next one is a text box. This is just like a rich text box that we can put inside of the markdown text box because why not? And the next one is the pull quote. So we'll just paste that there. So here, I'll scroll up for y'all to be able to copy that over. There you go. So it's just like a little quote box. So we'll save that. And let's go ahead and add these components. So back in our repo or our directory, let's go to components and we'll add a new file called rich text.tsx. And this is where we're going to dump in all of our rich text components. So the first rich text component is going to be the text box. like so. And this is going to require the Tina markdown dependency. The one after that is the tweet embed. And this one is actually going to require us to import a package called React Tweet. So just go ahead and open up your terminal and say yarn add React Tweet. And I guess while we're at it, I think we also need to import React Player. So we'll say React Player like that. Okay, so I'm going to kill this terminal and hide it. Whoop, I said hide it, not show it. There we go. So let's import tweet from React Tweet like so. Cool. The next one is the pull quote. So I'm just going to copy this from here, paste that like so. Let's go ahead and copy this over. And I'm going to scroll up real quick because I realized that I realized that when I was pasting these the first time, it probably got like squished. So there, just take a second and copy them over. So the next one is the React Player. And this one's going to require us to use the dynamic import because I don't know, there's some issue that like I found in the docs. So this is the way it works as far as I was able to figure it out. So it is going to require the dynamic package from NextDynamic. So just paste that up there and go ahead and copy that over. And the last one is the captioned image. So paste that in there like so. Go ahead and save. And now we can actually use these. But to use these, we have to go back to our Tina configs because, well, I'm not the most, I guess I'm not the most thorough person in the world, am I? So here, we'll just Control P, config, cool. So under post, where's the rich text? So under the rich text, where it says is body, we'll add a new property called templates, and we just need to import the rich text components like so. Okay. Next one we want to do is the page. So under fields, rich text, there we go. So now both of those are using the rich text components. So we can go ahead and close the config, I believe. Yeah, we can close the config. And now we just need to actually consume our, hello. I don't want to use image. You guys always give me problems. Okay, so let's, I don't know why I just ranted out of nowhere. So now let's see. So we actually need to import the rich text and use them in all of the places where we're using the rich text markdown. So let me show you what that looks like. Underneath the app page, so app/page.tsx, we want to pass in components here. Okay, components, if I can learn how to type, equals that. Okay, and in the components we can just import those components that we just created. So text box like that, and tweet embed like that. Maybe it needs to have another curly brace. There we go. Okay, we just save that to clean it up. So next one is pull quote. I need to actually import it. Hello. I said pull. Oh my gosh. Okay. I guess I'm going to do it here first. Pull quote captioned image video player. And while we're here, we'll create, well, no, we have to do that. We have to do that where it's consumed. So we'll just copy those and paste them there. Sometimes my IntelliSense doesn't like to work. So we can save that. And yeah, that's good enough. So now I'm just going to select these and then control click these, copy, and go back to, let's see, under posts, I think it was, yeah, post page right here. I'm just going to click here, control click here, space, paste. This one might need to be @/components/rich text. There we go. Add a space over there because that looks wonky. All right, so the last one I believe is just the slug. So underneath, right there, page.tsx. Oh wait, I forgot to do it. I forgot to do the home page. So last one's the home page. Sorry. So here and there. I'm gonna do that again. Control click there, paste, save. And now let me actually show you what those look like. So if we head into our TinaCMS and let's say I want to modify, here, let me Control Shift R just to make sure refresh. So now you can see there's this little embed button over here, right? So up top, I can actually come in here and say embed, and I can embed a tweet. And there's our default tweet. Elon Musk doing his thing, right? So, and you can change this pretty easily. So you can say, let me find another tweet. Let's see. Popular tweets. Oh gosh. I'm probably going to find like a really terrible one. Let's see. Man, I forgot how toxic Twitter is. All I'm getting is a bunch of inappropriate things. Okay, here's a PG one. There we go. There's Macaulay Culkin. Macaulay Culkin. I cannot say words. And it's an embedded tweet, so you can actually like do tweet actions, which I'm not going to do because why would I do that? So let's see, like there's the video player as well. So where did it go? Hello. Oh, there it is. Okay. And it does have a video URL. Oh, it's at the bottom. And there you go. There's my accordion tutorial. Look at that. So that's our default. So yeah, it's a pretty neat feature, and you can do this across like the rest of your apps. You can do this in the home page if you want. Like if you want to have I don't know, one of your banger tweets show up in the homepage, hey, you can do it. You can do it in your no, you can't do it in your projects because this is not a markdown. This is not an MDX file, but you can do it. I mean, if you want, you can change it so that it is, and then you can do it that way. And like I said, like you can go back and you can customize those as much as you want. So you can come into this rich text component, and you can go buck wild. Like you can create whatever custom component you want that like it should work since they are React components and MDX renders React. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what y'all build. If you build anything exceptionally special, please leave it down in the comments. And I did. Before I finish off, I did actually create a guide on how to deploy this. The deployment stage is not too difficult. It's a little like there's just a few steps. So instead of actually doing it for you, what I did was I created a site just like this one, and one of the first blog posts that you'll see is a detailed guide on how to deploy this to Vercel and get it hooked up with your GitHub so that you can get your portfolio up and in front of your recruiters and your interviewers and wow them and hopefully get that job that you've been fighting for. So yeah, I want to just say thank you so much for watching, and if you made it this far, thank you so much. And as always, I hope you learned something today.